Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my makeup. I'm going to start with foundation. I use Clinique because I'm naturally prone to acne and it actually helps a lot in order to prevent that. And then I use a sponge, of course. So I'm going to just apply a layer of that. I don't use a lot because this stuff spreads really easily. Well, my hair is not tucking by my ear and I do not want to get this on my face. Sorry, my hair is wet right now too. And then I just start on the cheeks and around the chin because the longer the foundation is sitting in one spot, the more it's going to cover the acne, at least if that makes any sense. I don't know if I explained that very well. And I do a dabbing motion all around. I'm careful. I don't put foundation on my eyebrows. I know some people like to do that first, but I put it around the edge of them. You can kind of see some of my acne scars here, and that's what I'm hoping to cover with some of this. Sorry, my camera quality is not the greatest. I'm using my phone right now. For the eyes, I do kind of smudge it on because I'm trying to get it to spread. I don't know if I put quite enough on the sponge. But I do start with the dabbing motion because it just helps to get it into any scars or bumps on your face, you know. God damn it, my hair is being very intrusive right now. And then I've been really careful to match this foundation to my skin tone because I really don't want to look like it's super cakey or fake, but still my part line is always a little bit paler than my actual face, so I do kind of dab it onto my part line like this, just on the front part to kind of help it like fade into the color. I don't know. I do rub it in really well. I just want to make sure there's no spots that I miss. And then I go down on my neck a little bit. Okay, and the foundation is done. I think that looks pretty even. Oh, I missed this over here. Okay, and then next I do my eyebrows just because if I have to touch anything up with any concealer or anything, I like to know before I put my foundation, my eyeshadow on. This jar is a little old, so it looks a little funky, but I use Tattoo Studio. I know there's drugstore makeup, but I feel like it works the best. My hair color is naturally like really dark brown, almost black, and this like pastel cream works the best from what I've tried. I'm a little bit too broke to afford the like super high end pastel things. I don't know what they're called, but and then I just kind of dab it because I don't want to put too much on there. I don't want it to be too dark, you know. So oh. I start on the bottom line and I just kind of darken it a little bit. I don't want it to look super. I think today, because I never know what eyeshadow I'm going to do until it's already done normally, but I think I'm going to do Sunset Colors today just because it's one of my favorites. It's one of my go-tos. I always end up doing some kind of blend with pink and yellow. I really enjoy them together. I'm currently growing my eyebrows back in because I was shaving them off to do the straight across, which I do really like that look. I might end up going back to it, But I just wanted some change. My eyebrows grow back pretty fast, so... As you can see, I kind of just start with an outline of my eyebrow. And then I fill it in. The nice thing about the pastels is, like, if you just continue doing brushing movements, it doesn't look unnatural when you're done. Sometimes I'll move the hair backwards. I'll just flip the brush and go the opposite way. Just because sometimes I feel like it doesn't always look even if, like, your hair was blocking the skin where you're trying to get the color. Okay, and then for this last part up here, I'm just gonna do some very kind of strong stroke movements to make it look like hair. And you can kind of see right here, it's a little bit too light. It doesn't blend into it as much as I want it to. So I kind of like lightly brush the brush up to push the actual hairs I have there upwards and to blend that into the darker part of my eyebrow. That looks a little flat on the top. I am going to round this out just a little bit. Oh, that was a little too much. Mistakes happen. You have to remember that. The important thing is that you know how to fix them, or you know how to accept them. So, okay. So one eyebrow down. If you notice, I typically like this back part a little bit sharper. So what I do is I take one of these brushes. I don't know what they're called, but they've got like the smaller end that's kind of firm. And what I do is I take a lighter foundation. I actually use CoverGirl. I believe Creamy Natural is the tone. I have pretty tan skin. So, and then I just take this and I dab it onto the foundation and I brush it underneath my eyebrow. There we go, see? I like that a lot more. Also, if you have any stray hairs, like you haven't plucked your eyebrows recently, this helps to kind of hide them. You just brush it underneath the eyebrow. It kind of gives a natural highlight look too, because that way, I'm sorry, it gives a natural highlight look because it's lighter. And then I go over the top edge with it a little bit. Again, don't get anything that's too far from your skin tone, even if you're trying to go for like lighter looks, just because you don't want to end up looking pasty, you know? Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I always change the shape of my eyebrows like every day. Sometimes they're rounder, sometimes I have them going straight out. For the look I'm going for today, I think that this kind of sharp look is what I'm going for. Okay, I'm gonna do the other eyebrow. One second. Remember, it's sisters, not twins, so... Well, I mean, well enough, you know, I'm not gonna be like super OCD about it. My hair's like slowly starting to dry. I'm trying to fluff it, sorry. trying to get it to like not dry like a helmet, you know, because I'm growing it out right now and it has a tendency to try and dry like this, but I want it to kind of floof, you know, get a little bit of volume. Anyways, so now we can probably start on the color. Like I said, I think I'm gonna do with sunset color, so we'll do like a purple, pink, yellow, purple, pink, orange, yellow. I love NYX. So the NYX Ultimate palette I use every day pretty much religiously. I use it for blush, I use it for eyeshadow, I use it for cute fairy looks with like the nose pinkness, you know. It's super neon, it's super like smooth, you don't get any patches when you're trying to blend, and it's only like $10-15. So I always stock up on these when I buy them. So let's see. So we're going to start with the purple, which is this one. Sometimes I'll darken the purple a little bit with some like blue just to make it like a little more of a dark purple, because it comes off as like a pinky purple, you see. So I use like one of these kind of brushes. I know that a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I like these ones because I feel like you can dab it on and then I actually use my finger to blend it out. I feel like you have a little bit more control over your blend that way. But of course it's personal preference, and I know certain brushes are designed to do certain things, but I feel like depending on your like eye shape, you can kind of mess with that and change it up. So first I dab on the purple. I'm gonna do it on the other side as well. I like to go all the way up to my eyebrows. It's kind of a bit of a gothic look that I do because I have pretty hooded eyes and I use my wing to kind of accentuate them. Then if I had just done like the crease type eyeshadow, then you wouldn't really see it because I have such hooded eyes. So I like to go all the way up, and then I just clean my brush off here. And then I'm going to move on to, oh, well, you know what? I am going to actually darken this a little bit with the blue. So I just use the blue and I dab it a little bit, very gently. And then I lightly, very lightly dab onto here with the blue, just to make it a little bit more of a dark purple. You kind of see what it's doing? There we go, see? And I like that a bit more because like that way it doesn't look like it's just like pink to yellow. That way we have like the purple actually fading into the pink. Okay, and then next I use the pink right here. Just kind of get my brush really full. I like to make it so it looks kind of like that, you know? And then I just dab right along that line that I put the purple. And you can see they're like similar colors, but it ends up like being a really smooth blend. Make sure you get under your eyebrow, because we are going to put highlighter under there to kind of make it like stand out, but I want the color there as well because I don't want it to look like I just missed a spot, you know? You can kind of see these colors, they already blend like phenomenally. Okay. So you can kind of see a line where they're not blended yet, but we're not going in with our finger yet. We're still just adding the color to our eyeballs. So now that we have finished that, I take this like orangey yellow color that's on the palette. I know the camera's kind of making it look kind of more yellow than it is. It's pretty dark, honestly. I will show you the difference between the yellow I use for the corners of my eye after I'm done. So I just take that, and like I said, I get the brush pretty full, and then I just dab that on the line. And you see how it's kind of like overlapping where the whole pink was? We don't want that, but we're going to leave it for now because I'll show you what we do with it. So we just do that to both eyes. It's a pretty quick way to do like a multicolor blend, honestly. Like this only takes me like an hour typically in the morning to do all of my makeup, which is really nice because most of the time, because I work in sales, so like I use my eyeshadow to kind of get people to pay attention to me, you know. And then I just brush the pink over the yellow with my finger. You see how it created that kind of like lightning effect? And all of a sudden they're blended, you know? You just brush it over very gently. Okay. And then now I actually use a yellow from Jeffree Star's Thirsty collection. Excuse me, my palette's kind of dirty, but I use this yellow here, which is quite a bit brighter, and because I'm going in on the creases in my eyes, I don't use the brush for this, because it kind of gets really messy. I use my finger. So I just kind of like rub my finger onto the palette, and then take it into the corner of my eye, and I brush up into the orange. And then you can like kind of dab right where the corner is, and brush up. You want to make sure it kind of has like a fanning look. That way it goes all the way up here into the orange. There we go. This is one of my favorites as far as the simpler morning looks goes. Okay, and then you see how nice of like a fade and blend that is? It's so beautiful. So what we're doing next is we actually take the CoverGirl, the Aqua Smooth, and then your sponge, and you dab your sponge very lightly in there because you want the under part of your eye to be lighter to make your cheekbones look higher, you know. So then you just dab that along the spot where it went over, right here, and then you brush out towards your cheekbone. And then you kind of pull this up, and then you can come up over your eyebrow and kind of make that a perfect little triangle right there. And then, like I said, you just brush this out. You don't want to get rid of all of the yellow in the center because it really looks nice when you put the highlighter in there and it's got the tint of your eyeshadow underneath it. So you want to kind of leave that. And when you do the same for the other eye, oops. Okay, and then you just dab it along that part and you pull. Oh, kind of messed up, but that's okay because we're going to do a wing. And the wing's going to cover that right there. So that's okay. You don't have to be perfect with this step. There we go. Okay. And then, I forgot. Okay. Okay, and now the eyeliner. This part is the scariest part, no matter how experienced you are, because you mess up the eyeliner and you mess up all of your eyeshadow, and it's so terrifying. Okay, I don't actually pay attention to the brand that I use for these. This one is NYX. Like I said, I do love NYX. I just like to use the felt-tipped liquid eyeliners. I've never had a problem with any of the brands that I've tried, no matter if they're the cheaper ones or not. So I think that it'll work no matter which one you get. This is just the easiest one to do. So what I do is I start on the edge of my eyeliner. So keep in mind you're going to thin this out later, so that where you start should be a little shorter than where you're planning on putting the tip of the eyeliner. So you just take it and you press down all the way to the crease of your eye right there. And then you see how it kind of created like a curve because I have super hooded eyes. So if you have hooded eyes, what you want to do is you kind of want to take that and brush upwards. And just keep doing that until it looks flat into the crease of your eye. And then you can see how it kind of naturally has that angle down. You just follow that downwards into your curve. You can kind of round it out if you choose to as well. And then what you do is you push it into the corner of your eye and you pull upwards. And then you kind of meld them together. Push into the corner of your eye. Just connect these lines to make them look like it's a straight line. Now, this never comes out the same every day, so you kind of gotta expect it to be different every time, long as it's straight, you know? And then what you do is you take about the center, you see where that would connect to the bottom right there? So you just connect that. Okay, then personally what I like to do is I like to pull this out a little into my crease just because it helps this look a little more flat. Kind of see what I'm talking about? And then, like I said, you don't want to start at the tip of your wing because what we do is we pull this out like this just to make it a little sharper. And then you can kind of use your finger to keep pulling that into a thinner line, make it a little sharp, like that. My eyeshadow is kind of messed up over there. There we go. That's looking better. Okay, and now we're gonna do the other eye. So, same thing. Of course, it doesn't matter if you do the steps in order, as long as you're doing the steps. Okay, and then evenness is more important than the size of your wing. So I like bigger wings, but sometimes I want to do smaller wings. Today I was going for something in the middle. It ended up being a little bit bigger, but it looks fine. As long as they're even and they're a good shape, then it's fine. So another thing I really like to do, especially with this look, is I actually like to pull down right into the crease of my eye to give myself like a little, I don't know what it's called. I like it. I think it's super cute. Then you can kind of pull it down. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the mascara. I don't like this brand of mascara that I'm currently using. I actually normally go with Maybelline and I like it a lot better. I like their brushes. One second. Kool-Aid. But right now, well, it's NYX. I just don't like the brush. I think that it doesn't pull my eyelashes out quite as long as the Maybelline brushes. It's still pretty good though. See, it's one of these ones. I don't know if you can like see the brushes. I don't care for it that much. But it still works. Just to make sure that like you don't see any like foundation or anything on my eyelashes. I do the bottom lashes. I feel like that's a really important step. I didn't used to like doing bottom lashes, but I feel like they just make your eyes look so much bigger. I poked myself in the eye like 3 times. I'm not normally this clumsy, I swear. Okay, and then we do the bottom lashes. There we go. Maybe a little more. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Well, hold on. We're good. That was sad. Okay. So we just pull them down. Okay, I'm happy with that. Next, what I focus on is the contour. Now, I don't use the brush that most people use for blush and contour. I use this big fluffy one. I get yelled at a lot by a lot of people I know for not using the one that's like slanted, but I think that different brushes work differently on different people's faces, and it's really just personal preference. So, and then I actually have 2 different things that I use. I have this contour from Arbonne. I wasn't sure, to be honest with you. I got this from a friend who didn't want it. But this is the tone that I use for my face. I don't want to go like crazy dark with it, but I do like to really accentuate my cheekbones. So a lot of people look at their cheeks and they see this line right here, and that's what they contour, which there's nothing wrong with that. I just personally like to start up higher than that line just to make my cheekbones look a little bit taller. So I brush down into that line. You see what I mean? You can kind of see like how it's already kind of changing the shape of my cheek. And then I can kind of brush back and forth a little bit if I want to. Then I can blend it up with my fingers. Once again, I think your fingers are some of the best blending tools in reality. And then we just do the same on the other side. Okay, you can kind of see how my cheekbones have already kind of changed shape. They've already become thinner. So, and it is a little dark for some people, but I don't mind it. I kind of like the way it looks. Then I also do underneath here, just to kind of help round out your face, you know. I do this one really lightly because you don't want this one to be very dark. People will notice it. So you just kind of brush along your actual jawline. It helps smooth out if you've got any chub or anything on your jaw. It just helps it make it look. And then you brush down. You don't want it to not blend in with your neck. You want to brush it down so that it looks like it's kind of part of you, you know? I did it a little dark, so we just take our hands actually and we brush that in like that. And let's just smooth it out. Like that. And then it already makes the side of your face look a bit thinner. You know, a lot of people really struggle with like figuring out a good way to do that. So, without making it look like you have like brown stuff up on your face. And then I do take this, and what I do is I use a slightly darker shade just to dab right on my temples to make my cheekbones stand out a little bit more. And then you can blend it in if it doesn't look perfectly smooth. Just dab it. Blend it. Take it and gently brush the top of your forehead. It kind of helps your forehead look a little smaller. I know that you guys kind of know the general idea of contouring probably, but I'm not trying to talk down to anyone. I'm just explaining. And then once again, like I showed you with my foundation, I take this and I dab it along my hairline just because I want it to like blend into the part that I contoured, just on that front part of my hairline. Because you don't want people to look at you and see the line where your contour is and then white, you know? I don't know. And maybe that's just me. I do brush underneath the bottom of my nose. And then I actually prefer to do pink for this. So I actually found this palette at Walmart. It was in the clearance. But it works really well. Although the actual design of the palette is totally falling off and I've only had it for a couple days. But it's called Spectrum. And you see this pink right here? It's a little bit lighter than it looks. It's lighter than my actual pink that I used on my eyes. So what I do is I take my blush brush and my contour brush. I've already cleaned it off and stuff, but I just rub it gently onto the pink. And then I dab that along the top of my cheekbones area. Not enough to completely darken them, but just like right underneath where you want to highlight them. Right there. Then I do the same to the other cheekbone, right there. Kind of see how that makes them look a little bit higher while still giving you blush. You can even add a little bit like more closer to right this area to make you look a little bit more like innocent style makeup, you know, which we'll do just so that I can show you what it looks like. You kind of see what it's doing? And then I actually also take this, and what I do is I brush it along the like side corners of my nose. Right about there. And then I go over the top and around the edge. So it kind of gives you like that natural sunset blush, you know? And then next is my favorite part. We use the highlighter This is Jeffree Star's highlighter. I don't know what it's from, like what like set it's from. I did get this from a friend who got a duplicate in her mystery box. Don't normally spend this much money on makeup, but I use my finger for this part just because I want to make sure I get my nose highlighted where I want it and not like all over the place, because some brushes I do struggle with it kind of getting everywhere because it's super glittery. So I just take it and I just rub it on the very, very tip of my nose right there. You can kind of make it look a little, I like to make it look like an oval shape. I feel like it helps my nose look a little smaller. And then I gently take a little bit more and I just brush it from right under my eyebrows down. Right there. And then I do have a highlighting brush for this next step. This is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. I like this one. And then I just take the flat end and I rub it gently onto the highlighter. And I dab it along my cheekbones like this. Sometimes you can kind of move in circular motions, which I like as well. You kind of see how nice that looks comparatively when you're moving. And then I just do the same on the other side. And then I use this brush, I actually take the corner of it like this time for underneath your eyebrows. This part's not as noticeable. You do kind of have to do this a few times. Like I said, we wanted it on top of the eyeshadow because you don't want it to look like you're missing a spot, because it just gives you like a little bit of a highlight. You can use your finger for this too if it's not going on the way you want it to. There we go. See, that made a difference. I needed to do that on this side. There we go. And then I like to do this. You kind of like have to stick your lips out like this. But like poof your upper lip out so that this part is kind of sticking out a little bit. And then you just highlight it. You can do the tip of your chin like right here as well. It just makes such a big difference on your contouring. Okay. So the last step is the lipstick. So I don't actually normally wear a lot of lipstick, but I've been kind of having fun with it. I use NYX for my lip liner. I actually have been trying to find a darker color, but I've been kind of lazy lately. And I just kind of go like this. Okay. And then this is a CoverGirl lipstick that I actually really like. It's one of those ones that doesn't come off unless you use a makeup wipe, which is great because I'm always eating food. And gets messed up no matter what you try and eat or how carefully you eat or anything. And I chew on my lips a lot because I get nervous and stuff. And so every time I chew on my lips, my lipstick starts coming off. But luckily with this, it doesn't really. So, okay, and it's super, super dark. It's a plum. But if you just dab it onto your lips, kind of like polka dot it, you can blend it out to make it more of like a gentle color. Okay, and then if you're clumsy like me, you're gonna get it all over your face. So what you do is you actually take that same type of brush that we used to fix our eyebrows earlier in the CoverGirl, and you just take the CoverGirl, you rub it along the edge of your lip line. Like that. I might have gone a little bit over on this part. Hold on. There we go. And you just kind of blend this out down this way. Round out the bottom of your lip. You can do the same for the top. Like that. And I'm pretty happy with this so far. I don't think I need to do anything else. Sorry, the sun's coming like in and out of the clouds right now, and I know my lighting is changing, but that's my finished look. This is kind of just like my everyday sales look for work. Sometimes I go a little more crazy and gothic with the eyeliner, and I can show you guys that in another video if you like this one. I don't personally use like eyelash extensions all that often, especially with COVID, because I feel like they kind of get in the way of my daily life. But I have used Glamnetic before, and I do really like their eyelashes. They're just crazy expensive for me right now. They're a lot easier to get on and off, you know. So, let me know what you guys think.